Okay, good morning. As we go to the Chitas of today, today is Monday. It's the second reading in the portion of Kiseitse. We're holding on chapter 21, verse number 22. If a man commits a sin which the sentence is death, God forbid, and they'll put him to death, and you'll hang him on a tree. So Rashi says the connection between these passages is that this is the one way that a wayward and a rebellious son teaches us. That if the father and mother spare him, he will eventually lead an evil lifestyle and commit grave sins, which will be sentenced to death at court. But Rashi says, our rabbi said, all who are stoned by court must afterwards be hanged. As the verse says, hang the human corpse is for the verse says a hanging human corpse is blasphemy to God. Thus we find that the sin of blasphemy is connected to hanging, and blasphemer is punished by stoning. Consequently, anybody who is stoned is hanged. Do not let his body hang on the pole overnight. Here we learn the law that we need to bury your body. It's very interesting. A lot of laws we learn from the Torah, a very important laws of burial of a person. We learn from a very interesting case in the Torah. So here the Torah says you're not allowed to leave the body overnight. That's why even in Yerushalayim, in Israel, they bury a person. Even at night. He clearly Kim told it. The hanging of a human corpse is a blasphemy to God. Disgrace to God to have a hanging body. And you should not defile your land, which God has given to you as an inheritance. So Rashi says this is a denigration of the divine king, whose image man is created. So even a murderer or somebody's done a blasphemy God, he's worshipped idols, whatever, that you need to hang him. It's still God's image, and the Israelites are children of God. This is comparable to two identical twin brothers. One who became a king, while the other was arrested for robbery and hanged. Whoever saw him, the second brother, suspended from the gallows, would say, "The king is hanging." Therefore, the king ordered that they remove him, they take him away from hanging, because everybody's saying the king is hanging. So therefore, when you hang a person, God forbid, is the Eibush that's hanging. Every person is made in the image of God. So therefore, don't keep him hanging. Make sure you bury him as soon as possible. So really, you can hang him for a minute. Wherever the term kilala appears in the scripture, it means treating lightly, hakel, or denigrating. For example, behold, you have with you Shimi ben Geda, and he cursed me, and it's severe curse. Kilalani. The other word kilalani, klolon. So the word kilkul means degrading. Verse 22, chapter 22, verse number 1. You're not allowed to see your brother's ox or sheep straying and ignore them. You shall surely return it to your brother. This is the law of Hashavas Haveda, returning a lost object. So Rashi says, it tells us we cannot just walk away and say, I don't see it. Why should I get involved? You don't pretend not to see it. Why is it double expression? You should not see it, but you shall ignore them. What it really means, you shall not see them and ignore them. Meaning, ignore your brother's animal strain. That is the simple meaning of a verse. Our rabbis explain. Although the verse clearly means that one must not ignore them. Nevertheless, the verse tells us, the verse is alluding to a situation when one, in fact, is permitted to ignore them. For example, if he's a kohen and the animal is wandering in a cemetery, where Kehanim may not go, right? Because they're not going to enter. Or if he's an honored sage, he's a great Talmud Chacham, and it's beneath his dignity to lead animals or carry packages in public places. He may ignore them. That's what the Torah says, a double expressions. Ignore, you should not allowed to ignore. Sometimes you are allowed to ignore certain cases. And he's not obligated to return to his brother. And let's say you don't know who this package is, he's not near you. And you don't know who this belongs to. You have to bring it into your house. And it should be with you until you find out. You go and search. You have to go out, and you learn the Gemara. Ibn Rashi will say, you have to go out and announce it, etc., etc. And you have to return it to him. So Rashi says, you might say, you know what? Would you imagine that one should return it to him before he asked for it? Rather, why did Torah tell us to you for what else do you do? Rather than means that you must keep the animal until you investigate it. Meaning that if a person, he said, you know what? The first person who comes to me, I'll give it to him. That's it. What do I need to keep it? Right? I'm not going to keep it. So the first person that comes to me, I'll give it to him. Torah says, no, you're not allowed to do that. You didn't do the mitzvah. Thus, giving it to anybody who comes to you is not good. You have to ask him to investigate and make sure that you're giving it back to the right person. Verifying that he's not a swindler by demanding he produce identifying signs. And the Gemara says a guy has to give a simon. So to do the mitzvah, you need to make sure that you're giving it back to the right person. And if you don't give it back to the right person, you haven't done the mitzvah. That there shall be something left in return. What does it mean? That one should not consume its whole value in your house. So you should claim it for him, for the owner. From here, the rabbi said, and any animal that works and eats should work and eat and produce of its work. The produce work, and any animal that does not work, yet still eats, should be sold by the finder and the money restored to the owner. So there's many laws over here we learn, because if, let's say, I find an animal, and this animal is like a sheep, and the only thing the sheep does is eat and eat and eat. It's a goat, eat and eat. It's like it's a cow, I can use it. I can have milk. But if it's a goat, all it does is eat. And now I'm going to have to go spend a lot of money on this goat to feed it. And who knows when I'm going to find the owner. So Torah allows you to sell the goat and take the money. The guy comes and tells you the simanim of this goat. You give him back the money. You're giving the money of the goat. But if it's something, for example, that you can use, for example, as I said, a cow, which you can milk. So then you go, you milk the cow, you use the milk. The owner can't come and say, oh, I want the money for the milk. And there's ultimately takonas hashavim. There is a concept, if somebody comes and says later, oh, here's $100 back. The guy says, I lost $200. Now you have a whole problem. The guy is saying, I lost $200. You say, I only found $100. So you have all takonas in the Gemara that that you don't have to swear. There's all beautiful Gemara on this law. So you shall do for his donkey, so you shall do for his garment. Here you have the classical klal, prat, uklal, klal, prat, uklal, right? You have the beginning, the prat, you have the klal, and then you have the klal. This is the klal of prat. You have the prat to klal. You have the prat to klal. You have the prat, the simple, the singular concept, and then you have the general. The Gemara learns. We know what do you learn from a prat to klal? Asher tevim imenu, which he lost, matzasa, and you will find leisucha lesalim. You cannot make yourself. You cannot close your eyes from it. You have a mitzvah of hashavas aveda. Leisucha lesalim. You must not cover your eyes pretending not to see it. Of course, the Torah needs to tell you that because ultimately it's a pain in the neck to do this mitzvah, because you might have to take an animal, you might have to take somebody's money or somebody's object. You have to watch it now and make sure we clean it. Verse number 4. You're not allowed to see your brother's donkey or ox that have fallen under its load. Again, ignore it. You should have pick it up and help him. I mean, if you're going on the way and you see your friend is going with his donkey and he's having trouble, this is loading, to load up the burden that has fallen off the animal as opposed to unloading. The burden's too heavy for the animal. And this is all in the Gemara. The Gemara explains the different laws that we learn from it. Unloading, uploading. Imai, im balav. Imai means that the guy can't say to you, you do this, you have a mitzvah to do this, and I'll sit on the side of the road. Imai im balav. If the owner himself walks away, and he says, "Oh, you have a mitzvah. You go do it. I'll go get some lunch." Then you don't have to do it. The mitzvah is imay. Verse number 5. A man's attire shall not be worn by a woman. And a woman is not allowed to wear a man's garment. Because it's an abomination to God who does such a thing. Rashi says, making her appear like a man. A man is not allowed to look like a woman, shouldn't make himself look like a woman, and a woman shouldn't make himself look like a man, thereby enabling her to go amongst men, or the opposite way. For this can only be for the purpose of adultery. To go abide amongst women. A man dressing up like a woman. Another explanation. In addition to wearing a woman's garment, a man must also not remove his public hair or the hair of his armpits. And he's not allowed to do these kind of things that a woman does. Now, it's not like we learn of many laws of this. A man's not allowed to color his hair. A man is not allowed to do anything that a woman does. Hisayaves. So Rashi says this is very important. This is the thin situation that the Torah said the Torah prohibits only wearing of clothes that would lead to an abomination, immoral, illicit behavior. So the question is, why are you wearing it? You're wearing it for comfort, and that's where we have this whole argument. You're wearing it for comfort or for Purim. And the question is, that's why Purim. You're right. So Purim, if you're not wearing it to use it on a concept to be to do prohibit to become something else. Purim is Purim. Purim is a celebration. It's Purim. But that's where you have that thing. That's the question is why. So that's what some rabbis say. Women wearing pants, for example, not wearing it for the sake of Pashas going out and becoming men. It's good for their comfort. So that's the question. Verse number 6. If a bird nests chances before you on the road, in any tree or on the ground, and it contains fledglings or eggs, and the mother is sitting upon the fledgling or upon the eggs, and you want to take the eggs, or you want to take the chicks. You're not allowed to take the eggs and the children. You have to send. I'm sorry. You're not allowed to take the mother upon the young. Not just kiyikara. This excludes a bird's nest that is ready in hand. Meaning you have to find it. There's a lot of, again, this is Shluch HaKan. Blessed my father, blessed memory. His yahrzeit this week. It was very into this mitzvah. And it's concept of Shluch HaKan. It was sending away the mother's bird. There's many laws in this mitzvah. And it means you have to chance upon it. Like Sikha Chaim. You're not allowed to take the young while the mother is still there. Shaleach tishalach hasein. You have to send away the mother. And then you take the children. So it'll be good for you. And you have a long life. This is one of only two mitzvahs in the Torah where the Torah says the reward of the mitzvah. Shluch Hakan brings many, many good things. That's why if you have a chance to do this mitzvah, you should do this mitzvah. In a case of a commandment of an easy mitzvah, to send away a mother's bird is not a very hard mitzvah to do, for which there's no monetary expense and no loss of money. I chance upon a mother's bird, I can just chase it away and take the eggs. What's the big thing? There's no loss of money. The Torah tells us, do is know that it should be good for you. The Torah says it'll be good for you. And you will be length of days. Then how much greater is the reward for fulfillment of a commandment that's more difficult for you? And it costs you money. So if the Torah gives you long life for an easy mitzvah, surely the Torah will give you long life for a more harder mitzvah. And now let's go to the Tanya. Just finished the Chumash of the day. Let us go to the Tanya of the day. So we are holding in the middle of the chapter, we're holding middle of chapter 12. Letter 12 of the Alter Rebbe. And it's a beautiful letter. Alter Rebbe is talking about the accomplishments of a mitzvah, and especially the accomplishment of mitzvah of tzedakah. That we bring down a light from heaven. Through this mitzvah, we bring down a beautiful, beautiful ray of godliness into this world. Now it's well known. It's well known that Jews, by their very nature, act compassionately and perform deeds of loving kindness. Why do Jews have this nature within them? This is because their soul issues from God's attributes. As we say, their neshama comes from, we learned in Tanya, has 10 manifestations. And one of their manifestations of their godly soul is Midas HaChesed, the attribute of Chesed. And therefore kindness prevails over the attribute of justice, Gevura and Tzimtzum. Because as it says in the verse, Ki gavar chasta al yedeh, his chesed prevails over who fear him, alluding to the fact that the divine attribute of chesed prevails over the divine attribute of Gevura. So therefore, we are by nature kind-hearted people. Therefore, in Kabbalah, the neshama is called Bas Kohen, the daughter of the priest, since it derives from the attribute of Chesed, which is called Kohen. So we are all, every neshama is feminine. Neshama, the word neshama itself is feminine. So every neshama that we have is a feminine concept. And we all are feminine, which is our neshama, come from a Bas Kohen. We are all the daughters of the priest, so to say. So we come all from we all come from a part of God. So therefore, as we say, B'Tselem Elikim, we all come from the image of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is his 10 manifestations. And therefore, we all have chesed, we all have kindness, and our kindness prevails. Since their soul derives from the divine attributes, which are dominated by kindness and compassion, Jews by their very nature are kind and compassionate. Now charity that issues from this source, and from the soul's inherent kindness and compassionate nature, is called an act of charity. Not only do we have within us the concept of charity, the aspect of chesed, but we actually have Maisa Tzedakah. We have the action of charity. Shei Maisa, because the word action, Maisa, an act, Neifal and Davish Nasa, applies to which already done, or something that is done constantly. So it's an interesting word. That's it. Alter Rebbe is going on the word Maisa Tzedakah. It sounds from the past that they are giving charity. They are charitable. They are charitable even before they gave charity. So we are charitable even before we gave charity because we have within us the concept of chesed. This is something that exists. It's your nature. You're a charitable person in nature. So you're already, before you even gave the charity, you are a charitable person. It's something that's constant. Jew, we constantly give. Afkan, here to regard to tzedakah, that is motivated by the soul's innate sense of kindness and compassion. Harimidas chesed, the trait of kindness, varachmonis, and compassion. Hutva benafshis kobesis omakvar is implanted in the souls of the entire house of Israel from ikvar for the past, from history, from Avraham Avinu, as we know, from beginning. Actually, that from the time of Adam Rishon, the Eibishter already blew within the person of soul, and he gave them already the nature of kindness. Meaning that in truth, if a person's unkind, he's going against his nature. The nature of a human being is to be kind. Because the Eibishter, the soul of a human being is kind. Has the attribute of kindness. So even though the soul of a human being has the attribute of severity too, of justice, but kindness always prevails. So naturally in the soul, he is kind. And if he's more severe than kind, he's simply going against his nature. So as it's written that Adam's soul, entering his body, he blew within his nostril a soul of life. Or likewise it says, you blew within me. And one who blows from within him, as we learned in the first chapter, the second chapter of Tanya, without the Rebbe introduced us to the godly soul, from his innermost being. So too, in analogy, since the soul emanates from the inner aspect of divine attributes, it is infused with them as well. So too, the attribute of kindness dominates the soul even as it finds itself within the body. And that's why we are naturally good. We are naturally good. Furthermore, in his goodness, God renews the acts of Maaseh Bereshis. Same word as Maaseh Tzedakah. The Eibishter, God renews the act of creation, which means includes the supernal attributes of Chesed is renewed constantly. As it says, they are new every morning. So the Eibishter does also God does an act of charity. Actually, we say the Moidani, the Zayta Bina Shmasi, the Eibishter did an act of charity, that he gave me back my soul. Is an act of charity. The Eibishter renews the world constantly is an act of charity. Why? Because God is also chesed. So the act of Maaseh thus refers to the constant process, such as the renewal of the soul, which characteristic traits is kindness and compassion. The act of tzedakah hence refers to the tzedakah which a Jew practices by the virtue of the innate character trait. We are charitable people because we express God in the world, and God is charitable. And we emanate godliness in the world through this story, this concept of charity. The term service, however, applies only to what man does with immense exertion, contrary to his soul's inclination. So what does it mean that what is the avodah? Maaseh tzedakah. Here we go back to the beginning of the letter, without the Rebbe saying the Maaseh tzedakah and the avodah tzedakah. Maaseh tzedakah is your nature. Maaseh, something that you have done already. That's why it's called Maaseh, the act already, the acts of charity. So that's something that's in your nature. But then you have the avodah of tzedakah. Now you have to go above your nature. Because avodah service is an expression of work. Avodah is labor. Indeed, this inclination for a particular task that works against him, and a necessity is subject to such exertion. Avoida means I overrule my nature. But it's so I go beyond my nature. Indifference to but overrules his nature and will out of deference to the supreme will. I break my nature to do the will of God. By exhausting himself, for example, in the Torah and prayer, to the extent of pressing out his mitzvah hanefesh. So since the soul is not naturally inclined to such a situation, a great deal of toil and effort is required. Afkam mitzvah tzedakah. So too, when it comes to charity, what means avodah tzedakah? Avodah tzedakah is to give more than teva, go more than you're naturally inclined to be good. Litin harbe yosem teva, to give more than he would do naturally. More than his compassion and his nature. As our blessed sages say in the verse, give, you shall give. The double expression, not saying titen, give, you shall give. Afilo meya pamim. You shall give even 100 times. There's no limit to how much tzedakah you should give. You should go above your nature. You should give more than what you're supposed to give. A Jew should go in the Ma'aseh tzedakah. He should not only do the Ma'aseh tzedakah, the act of charity, he should do the avodah of tzedakah. He should do the service of tzedakah, which goes above his nature and his capability. And that completes the Chumash, the Shitas Chumash of the time of the day. And dear friends, today is the 9th day of the month of Elul, the 9th month of Elul. The Tillim of the day, to do the Tillim of today, is from chapter 49 to chapter 54. From chapter 49 to chapter 54, you would do the Tillim of the day. Also, the 3 chapters for today is chapter 25, 26, and 27. I wish you all a wonderful day, a happy Labor Day, and we'll see you in Beit Shammai tomorrow at 8 o'clock. We'll continue the Chitas.